on this single. We've been playing it a lot on our show, and our listeners have absolutely loved it. So I was wondering if you could start off by telling us a little bit about where your passion and love for music came from.
Sure. Well, thank you. First of all, that's amazing. So I come from quite a musical family. So my mum's a pianist, and my granddad could almost play every instrument you put in front of him. So I've sort of grown up around music a lot, and my dad's really into it, although he's not a musician. So that's sort of, I suppose, when I took an interest to music, it was strongly encouraged. I never really did it in public until I was about 14, just because of confidence issues and stuff. And I had a school singing teacher who put me forward for a school performance. And at the time, it was a massive deal. I was so nervous. And I know it seems silly in the grand scheme, but it was the first performance. And then after that, it was just what I've wanted to do ever since for a career. So.
Yeah, you've performed at some of the leading venues in England. You've also performed at festivals. How did you overcome that nervousness that you had that was preventing you from doing live shows in the early days?
I suppose, practice, I suppose. I always like to be so prepared for any show that I do. So I suppose that adds a sense of security in itself. But I think I started off performing with other people as well. So in my music classes at school, I'd sort of started doing duets with my friends, and I think doing it with other people, there was a comfort in having somebody else on stage with you, first of all. And then I sort of just had the confidence to do it myself. I mean, I don't really have a ritual. I know some people have rituals and stuff like that, but I just sort of prepare and then do it.
Yeah. You mentioned that you came from a very musical family, and I noticed that you've just put a cover up of Tennessee Whiskey online. What kind of music did you grow up listening to, and what kind of music did you find yourself being drawn to during that time?
So I've always loved soul and Motown, and just old school music, really. Stevie Wonder's my absolute idol. I was lucky enough to go and see him actually at Hyde Park. It was British summertime last summer, and then the 2 years before that as well. So my dad's always been massively influential with my music. He thinks he's a bit of a DJ himself, not professionally, but he just loves playing music around the house, always has done. And we've always collected vinyl together. And so I'm a massive fan of Joni Mitchell as well, Etta James. So yeah.
Yeah.
That answers the question.
Now, as I mentioned before, our listeners have absolutely fallen in love with Hole, and it's getting requests every single day to be played. Tell us a little bit about that track, where it came from, and what that track actually means to you.
So it was quite a personal one, and for that reason it's probably one of my favourites so far. So it's just about I'm 18 next month, and it sort of hit me, and I was like, how am I this old already? I know it's not even that old, but I still feel I'm still in senior school, year 7, starting out. So it's just about my reluctance to grow older. I'm wanting to go back to simpler times, where probably the only pain I experienced was a scooter to the ankle, or a grazed knee in the playground. So yeah, that sort of is an overall of what the song means to me. And I'm glad that everyone really likes and connects with it, because it's definitely a personal one for me too.
Yeah. How does that make you feel, knowing that here in Melbourne, Australia, your song is getting requested on breakfast radio over and over each day? How does that make you feel?
That's insane. I really didn't realise that, so thank you for letting me know. I just want to say thank you to everyone that's requesting it. It's amazing, really. That's my main goal, to be honest, with my music. Just hoping that other people can connect to it too. I think music really brings people together, so I'm so glad that my song's has been able to do that.
Definitely, and it's been such a difficult time here in Australia as well. Like, a lot of young people have been in lockdown here now for 3 months because of the COVID outbreak. So I think the track is kind of resonating a lot with people who are in lockdown, especially the younger people. How has the lockdown period been for you there? And have you found that you've been creative and been working on new music while you've been in lockdown?
Yeah, so it's definitely been tough on everyone, and that was partly the reason that I sort of wanted to release that song, particularly like during lockdown. But I mean, for me, it's been positive. Like, I've found myself really getting stuck into writing sessions and doing things online with people. And because everyone's at home, like, you can just email someone and they'll have, like, they might have not had the time before, but they'll have the time to get back to you. And I've just been getting involved in loads of writing groups and just been trying to really connect with people during this time, because I think it's so easy to feel isolated at the moment. And like, at times, don't get me wrong, I've definitely felt the same. But yeah, that was partly the reason. Believe it or not, I didn't write it during lockdown. I wrote it before, so it was very coincidental. But I'm glad that I was able to release it during a time where it really resonated with people.
Yeah. Now, a lot of our listeners have been asking where to now for you. When can we expect to hear new music from you, and what's the plans? Are you going to release an EP or an album in the not too distant future? What's the plans there?
So I'm hoping to release a single in the near future, but obviously there's been restrictions in terms of recording, where I record in the studio, which is quite unfortunate, but I'm getting that out as soon as I can. As soon as I'm able to as well, I'm doing headline shows locally, and hopefully building up so then I can do slightly bigger shows elsewhere as well. And yeah, I'm just keeping active on all my social medias. I'm doing writing sessions, and yeah, I'm just hoping to grow as an artist and hopefully.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's been such an amazing 12 months for you as well. You've picked up a Southeast Entertainment Award for Young Breakthrough Artist. You also have been part of the Young Songwriter 2019 competition. You've received radio play on BBC. How has that helped your career even in England so far, and how many doors has that opened for you as well?
It's definitely opened loads. Like, I've always been told that network is everything in this industry. So, like, getting to know them influential people has definitely opened, like, gig opportunities. Like, that's where I was sort of spotted for a London promoter, which was enabled me to perform at some of the big venues. And yeah, it's just definitely helped me get places. I think it really is not what you know, it's who you know, and I'm definitely live by that. Like, by no means I'm at the top, so I'm just keeping on going.
Definitely. Well, Sophie, I think it's time for us to play Whole again on our show. Thank you so much for chatting to us. And is there anything you would like to say to our listeners out there before they take a listen to your amazing new track again?
Just thank you so much. I hope you enjoy it and I hope it resonates, and stay safe during these crazy times. And yeah.